What's up everybody, welcome back to the Second Street Marvel. In today's video, I'm going to be reviewing Once and Future issue number 3. Now before I get into that, please make sure you're subscribed, click the little bell and all of that good stuff. Make sure you give it a like or a dislike, one of those two. We need to be reminded occasionally. So Once and Future issue number 3. Guys, I've been waiting for this book to come out. I've really been enjoying this series, and I think this is only like a 5-issue series. I could be wrong there. I could be wrong, but this book has been absolutely great so far. This is being published by Boom Studios. The writer is Kieran Gillen. The artist is Dan Mora, the colorist is Tamara Bonneville, and the letterer is Ed Dukeshire. And this story picks up pretty much where we left off after issue number 2. Where we see Duncan and his grandmother in Otherworld as King Arthur has just been resurrected, and they are there. We can see they're there doing what they can to slow down everything that's getting ready to happen, probably in the rest of the issues to come. They're there trying to slow down King Arthur and basically the spreading of him coming back to life and building an army. And so we see they're there in Otherworld, and they make a daring escape while trying to slow King Arthur and his disciples down. And as they're leaving, Duncan's grandmother says, "Hey, we need to go see a doctor." And there's a lot of funny banter with the grandmother in this throughout this series. She's just really funny and really likable. And so she's like, "No, we're seeking out this doctor." And he's like, "Well, is this somebody in your secret order?" And she's like, "No, a doctor of history, and probably somebody from Bristol." And he makes mention, he's like, "That's odd. I was, the girl I was just on before I had to come pick you up is from Bristol." And he goes, "That's just an odd coincidence." And she goes, "Oh, and she just kind of tells him like, "Oh no, the story's already got its teeth into you," which she says a lot of these things kind of tongue in cheek, but I think while she's saying it and being kind of funny, I think she's like serious at the same time. It's really kind of hard to get a funny read on his grandmother here. Absolutely funny stuff. So they go to her house because he had just left her on a date. He had picked her up for the date and left her at the dinner table. Remember, he left her to go pick up grandma. And so they end up returning to her residence together because they needed her assistance. They had to go to the university. And this is where the grandmother was talking about Chunky Charles and needing to appoint a successor to him, and that is basically what we're getting out of Duncan's girl that he took on a date here. And we see that they arrive at her house, and Grandma, she goes up to her usual ways to convince the people that she needs to help her. I'm telling you, Grandma's absolutely funny. So they go off to the Bristol University, and they're there going through some old files and everything because they need some stuff, some particular things that are in this file, in these old archives that have been thought that they were completely obsolete. So they're there, and they find this stuff in this lockbox, and there's a note in there for the person who is finding it. This the doctor of history who's finding this, who has basically been sought out. And there's one thing I want to make mention of in this book, and you guys, I'm not sure, like the story in here has been really great, but the art in this book is absolutely beautiful. And I just want to show that, like these couple panels right here, especially with the young lady there that Duncan was on his date with, pay particular attention just to how well that's drawn and just how beautifully colored that is. This book, whole series so far, has just had phenomenal artwork in it. I mean, I absolutely love it. Just beautiful, like well colored. The lines are really good and clean, and just I can't express enough how much I love the art and the colors throughout this series so far. It's been really great, and we can see here, like I said, they drew just like this absolutely beautiful young lady there who is the doctor that they're putting here in this book, and you can even see the kind of detail on Duncan there. Just really well done stuff, man. Just really great art. So they end up, they get the keys that they need to get into the what do they call it, the bath. They're going to basically these where who is it? Edgar the Good, who was basically the first king of England, where he was crowned at, because there's something there that they need. And so they arrive there, and they get inside with these keys that they found in this lockbox, and we see that there's all kinds of spiritual activity going on there. And this actually leads them to just basically through into another gateway. Where the grandmother is saying this is where kings go to be crowned, and we get some more some really just other great artwork with King Arthur there, as he is the dead King Arthur. The undead King Arthur is there getting his sword in the stone, if you will. And as they're going through doing a lot of these things, you can see they're kind of talking about all these these stories that we hear about the past of like King Arthur and Sir Galahad, the Knights of the Round Table and all that stuff. How it kind of plays just into all this, and how Grandma's just there, how her and her attitude is just so great. She's there kind of like, oh God, don't believe everything you hear. And she goes, and she tells the girlfriend here, she says, some of the worst things, like she says, the danger always comes from people who take stories too literally. So it's funny because they're there doing all these things that pertain to these stories, that we kind of grew up hearing and reading about and stuff like that. And she's like, don't take it all so literal. But then there's other times where she's like, okay, like, no, that stuff's real. This stuff is actually real. So it's just crazy. It's great how the grandma is. And so here we can see they find their Sir Galahad, if you will, to go out and seek the Grail, the Holy Grail, for to basically heal King Arthur back to the point where he will no longer be undead, to basically bring him back to life. And we can see, Grandma's like, okay, like she was saying in the first place, what they were going is they had to go and intercept all this from happening. They had to stop from him basically from drinking from the Grail. And that's exactly what they're there to prevent. And the story ends in such a way that makes you just want to read issue number 4. And I'm telling you guys, if you guys have not been reading this series, it's been absolutely great. I mean, just you can even look at that cover there of this issue, man. This series has been really, really well written. Like I said, the art in this book has been absolutely great. Great work by Dan Mora. Tamara Bonnevillain has been doing a phenomenal job doing the colors in here as well. And we'll give Ed Dukeshire his due for the lettering as well. It's easy to read and it looks nice. So altogether, guys, this book has been really great. The series has been really great. It's like issue number 1 was really good. It was a good introduction to the characters. Issue number 2, I'm telling you, when I seen issue number 2, like I got all giddy inside. I was like, ooh, all right, like this is getting really, really good. And that this issue number 3 takes that one step further. I mean, it's really got me waiting to read issue number 4. I can't wait to read issue number 4 next month. But let me know down in the comments below. Have you read Once and Future? If so, what are your thoughts? Thank you all so much for tuning into the Second Street Marvel today. If you haven't already, please make sure you're subscribed and click that little bell so you get notifications anytime I have uploaded new content or anytime I plan on doing a live video. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, and if you don't, give it a thumbs down. It's all good. But while you're at it, make sure that you share it with a friend and invite them to come hang out with us here on the Second Street Marvel. You all have a very good day. Have a great rest of your week. Happy reading. Get out and support your local comic book shop, and we'll see you in the next video. Later.